Hey guys, Samuel again, here to talk about another lost episode from a show by PBS Kids, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. If you're living under a rock, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is a show based on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the show from 2012. It is about a 4-year-old tiger cub who lives in the neighborhood of make-believe, like the original show, with his friends, Prince Wednesday, Oh the Owl, Miss Elena, and Katerina Kitty Cat as they learn lessons along the pathway. But I'm not here to talk about Mr. Rogers' reboot. I'm here to talk about another encounter with an unaired episode. The story begins here. It all started when me and my parents and I were at Taco Bell. My order was a black bean chalupa supreme along with some chicken tortillas, nachos, Bel Grande, and a wild strawberry freeze for a drink. After the ordering, we were just about to leave when I saw a red package lying next to me. Daniel's Emotions DVD. The DVD. Oh, would you look at that? Another package? I asked, impressed. I took the package with me, and once we got home, I opened it, and it was revealed to be a DVD of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. The cover featured Daniel Tiger and his friends on a yellow background, while the show's logo can be seen on the top along with some red text that read Daniel's Emotions. This better have a good lost episode and not one of those horror fests. I muttered as I inserted the disc in my DVD player. The DVD began with the PBS Kids logo, like in every PBS Kids DVD, but it was off. Dash looked like he was attacked by a rabid animal, and I could even see blood coming down from his nostrils while he had a look of distress. The background was normal, though, and so was the logo. After that strange PBS Kids logo, it showed many previews for other PBS Kids shows, like Super Wide, Word World, Word Girl, Curious George, Teletubbies, Booba, JJ the Jet Plane, Fetch, with Ralph Ramen, Maya and Miguel, Caillou, Wild Kratts, Arthur, Martha Speaks, Dinosaur Train, and more. PBS Kids injured that logo. What the logo looked like. Then, it showed the menu afterward, which was nothing special. It was just a shot of the neighborhood of make-believe, while the DVD logo can be seen on the top along with the options in red text. Play all, episode selection, special features, and visit PBS Kids. I pressed episode selection rather than play all, because, well, all this time, there weren't any listed episodes at the back of the case at all. The episodes featured were Daniel Gets Mad, Katerina Gets Mad, Duckling Goes Home, Daniel Feels Left Out, Daniel Gets a Shot, A Stormy Day, and some for episode I never recalled being a part of the series, Night of the Weretiger. Let me guess, Daniel Tiger is going to turn into a weretiger and consume the flesh of his friends, his family, and everyone else in his neighborhood. I predicted. I pressed play all to see if my prediction was correct. The first 3 were good, but this final one started with the intro, but something was off with it. The sky was a dark orange, and there were dark gray clouds. No one seemed to notice, though, as the intro went on normally. After the intro, the episode began in the forest at night whilst the episode title faded in and out. Just then, Daniel Tiger popped up behind one of the trees. My number. Daniel Tiger greeted. I'm just camping with Mom, Dad, and my baby sister Margaret. Do you want to join us? Silence. Great. Come on. Let's go. Daniel Tiger cheered as he ran to the campsite. It then cut to the campsite while it then showed Mom and Dad Tiger both roasting marshmallows while Margaret was sitting next to Mom Tiger. Just then, Daniel Tiger ran up to his family. Mom, Dad, our neighbor wants to join our campsite. Daniel told his parents cheerfully. Oh, hi neighbor. I'm so glad you could come and join us. Mom Tiger happily greeted. We're just busy toasting some marshmallows in the bonfire. Dad Tiger also greeted. As Dad Tiger said, Trolley came in and riding all of Daniel's friends. Oh, hi everyone. Daniel Tiger greeted. Glad you all could make it. We sure did. Prince Wednesday cheered. We even brought the tastiest snacks. Miss Elena also cheered as she held out 3 bags of chips and some candy bars. Excellent. Daniel Tiger spoke as everyone sat down by the fire. Now everyone who wants to hear a spooky story, Dad Tiger asked everyone. I do. Everyone cheered as Dad Tiger beamed. Well, everyone except for Margaret, as she was just a baby. Okay then. Once upon a time, there was a young tiger cub, and his best friend was a young prince. And one day, Dad Tiger explained, it then panned up to show the moon. After 1 second, it panned back down to show that everyone had headed to their tent to hit the hay whilst the fire was still lit. It showed the scene for 5 seconds until the moon shined a light on Daniel's tent. It then showed the inside of Daniel's tent, where Daniel was sleeping peacefully while hugging his favorite stuffed animal, Tiggy. Suddenly, Daniel's body started to twitch and shake as I was left shocked. Boom. I gasped. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Daniel then woke up in a cold sweat as he began looking around. What's going on? Daniel gasped suddenly. He then noticed something growing on the fingertips of his paws. They turned out to be claws as Daniel started to panic. What's happening? Me. Daniel whimpered as his voice faded into a demonic effect. Daniel then started screaming bloody murder as he fell to the ground on all fours while his look continued to change. His fur was becoming darker and more furry. His fangs grew longer, his toes also gained claws, and his muzzle grew longer. Holy crap, I thought to myself. Just then, Daniel opened his eyes, but this time, his irises were yellow. And all of a sudden, Daniel started growing. It then cut to Mom and Dad Tiger, both sleeping in their tent, until they woke up when they heard the sound of howling. What was that? Mom Tiger gasped as she looked around. Mom and Dad Tiger walked outside their tent and gasped at what they saw. It was their own son, Daniel, who now had become a ferocious, bloodthirsty weretiger. Daniel? Dad Tiger asked, confused. Is that you? Mom Tiger questioned. Daniel turned to them and started roaring at them. Daniel. Mom Tiger whimpered. Are you? But before Mom Tiger could finish her sentence, Daniel pounced on her and started feasting on her. B-R-O. That's your mother. I screamed. Daniel. Stop. Dad Tiger yelled in fear. Why should I, bitch? Daniel yelled before continuing to feast on his OWN mother. Like in my previous Lost episode Encounters, I was shocked to hear Daniel say the B word in a kid's show. W-H-Y must you swear at your dad? I muttered. Shut up, stupid blue wolf. Daniel told me. I can do whatever I want. I couldn't believe it. Daniel was actually talking to me. But how? Eventually, after Mom Tiger was nothing but a pile of her remains, Daniel turned towards his dad and told him, you're next. As Daniel charged towards him, Dad Tiger screamed as Daniel was about to feast him. But right before Daniel could make contact with his dad, it cut to Katerina Kitty Cat sleeping peacefully inside her tent. Suddenly, she woke up and heard the sounds of Dad Tiger's screaming. What the? She gasped. What was that noise? She then got out of the tent and saw Daniel feasting on the remains of his OWN father. Daniel. Katerina whimpered. What are you? Daniel's other mad lads exited their tent and gasped as they saw Daniel consuming his parents. Is that Daniel? Miss Elena gasped. And why is he devouring the remains of his mom and dad? Oh, also gasped. It then cut to Margaret sleeping peacefully in Mom and Dad Tiger's tent with her pacifier in her mouth whilst holding her beloved blankie. Just then, Margaret woke up after hearing the screams of her own parents. Mama? Got up. Margaret spoke as she crawled out of her blankie. Margaret then got out of the tent and saw Daniel feasting on his parents. Daniel? Margaret gasped fearfully. Is that you? I was stunned to hear Margaret speak in a clear English sentence. WW, what the hell? Oh, gasped. How can you do that? Miss Elena panicked. Well, I have been every day. Margaret stated. You have? Prince Wednesday asked. Well, I just before Margaret could finish, Daniel feasted on Margaret as Margaret was screaming in pain. Are you serious right now? I gasped. Now you're feasting on your baby sister? Daniel, please, stop. Katerina begged as Daniel turned to face her and the rest of his mad lads. I don't care. Daniel berated, I am going to feast on you all, no matter what. Daniel then ran towards his friends and feasted on them all. Well, except for Katerina. Katerina covered her eyes while Daniel continued to feast on the rest of his friends as they groaned in agony. And when Katerina uncovered her eyes, she saw her friends all dead. Oh, the owl had his face ripped off, exposing his skull while his forehead was chopped off, exposing his brain. Miss Elena had her limbs ripped off while her eyeballs and tongue were also ripped off. And Prince Wednesday had all of his teeth plucked off while his tongue was right next to his corpse. Let's not forget that half of his torso was chopped off whilst blood was seeping down below. Daniel then turned to Katerina as he growled, "Wanna join them?" Katerina, however, ignored Daniel and ran off as Daniel chased her. You can run, but you can't hide, kitty cat. Daniel berated. Just then, Katerina tripped on a log, causing her to fall. Daniel then saw Katerina as he was growling at her. Daniel. Katerina gasped. Please, don't hurt me. You are too late. Daniel taunted. I am going to feast on you later. Daniel then rushed over to the neighborhood as Katerina watched in horror. Katerina is scared about what Daniel has done. A screenshot of Katerina after Daniel kills everyone except her. What has become of Daniel? Katerina muttered. It then cut to black, but the episode wasn't over yet. It then cut to King Friday the 13th's castle, where King Friday the 13th was. Alright, Royal Court. Where the heck has Prince Wednesday been this whole time? King Friday the 13th wondered. Just then, King Friday the 13th heard a sudden creaking noise, which turned out to be the gates opening slowly as Daniel was revealed to be the one who opened it. Daniel? King Friday the 13th asked. Is that you? Daniel, however, pounced onto King Friday the 13th, which caused him to get startled. Daniel? King Friday the 13th gasped. Why, you're scaring me. And with all the 4-year-old tiger cub's strength, Daniel ripped King Friday the 13th SOWNARMOFF as he began to scream in agony. Guards. King Friday the 13th alerted the guards. Wait, he has guards? I asked confusingly. Just then, the guards came as fast as they could. Stop right there. The guards berated as they held their guns. Why are you a wolf who is killing other people? Because I ripped off Prince Wednesday's dad's arm. Daniel answered. Now I had to kill your whole body. The guards all gasped in fear except for one. Oh shit. One of the guards gulped. Daniel then feasted on the guards as they screamed in agony, loudly and irate. I covered my ears during the ear out part because it had bleeded my ears so much. I paused the episode and uncovered my ears. I noticed blood splatters on my hands. Dang it, I muttered. The screaming ear out course got me killed. I then grabbed the tissue and cleaned the blood out of my ears. Late Orion paused the episode. Just then, Queen Sarah Saturday came downstairs to see what the commotion was all about. Only to see Daniel feasting on her own husband and gasped in horror. It showed King Friday the 13th's corpse. He had his arm ripped off while his haunch, eyes, and intestines were next to his corpse. What have you done to my husband? She gasped. You're next, fairy tale queen. Daniel taunted as he started to feast her. Queen Sarah Saturday screamed in anguish as she was being feasted, much to pain. It then cut to another place in the neighborhood. It was none other than the neighborhood music shop, where Music Man Stan and Lady Elaine were wondering where their daughter Miss Elena was at. Where could Miss Elena be? Music Man Stan wondered. Suddenly, the two heard growling. What was that? Lady Elaine gasped. Just then, Daniel burst in. Music man Stan asked, "Who do you look that way?" Lady Elaine questioned. Daniel, however, pounced on her immediately and proceeded to devour the remaining neighborhood. After that, the screen was black, and there was text in red writing that said, "The rest of the numbers are now dead. Now, it's time for your family to die." I was scared. I said I had enough of this bullshit. I turned off the TV. I tried to inject the DVD, but the DVD will not pop out. It turns out the episode was not over yet. The screen went back to the episode, and it showed Daniel. Waking up thought there are no blood, no dead parents, no dead friends, and no fur except for the original fur. It was over. So let me get this straight. Everything that Daniel did was just a dream. The outro on the song was toned down, and then the DVD popped out. I smashed the DVD into bits. The next day, my mom and dad went out to hunt until both of them got attacked by a large animal, and they died. The doctor said it looks like a tiger bite. That is when I realized that lost episodes really exist. This is Samuel signing off.